Thank you very much. A very interesting council. Let me just pick up a few of the highlights. If I begin with Syria. Of course, the council reaffirmed its position that the violence in Syria remains totally unacceptable. And all were encouraged by the recent initiative by the coalition leader Sheikh Moaz al-Khatib for a political dialogue. We hope that the representatives of the Syrian regime don't miss this opportunity and that we can see an end to the violence. We continue to give our full support to the efforts of Joint Special Representative Brahimi, who will join us next month, and we will continue our help to the innocent victims of the conflict. EU humanitarian aid is now at €600 million. Today we also agreed to extend the sanctions against Syria for a further 3 months, and we're amending them so as to enable greater non-lethal support and technical assistance for the protection of civilians. We will, of course, continue to assess and review the sanctions regime if necessary to support and help the opposition and to ensure that we are providing the best we can for the people on the ground. In our discussions on Mali, of course, very important because today we've launched the EU training mission, which will help to reorganise, advise and train the Malian armed forces. We believe they should, of course, operate under civilian authority. This is a very important project and it will begin providing advice immediately and military training in a few weeks. We've committed to resuming our development assistance to Mali, which is worth some €250 million this year. All of this, of course, linked very closely to the Malian government's efforts to implement the roadmap. We look forward to the Malian authorities setting up a national dialogue and reconciliation commission as soon as possible. On Friday, we announced €20 million from the Instrument for Stability to help security and the delivery of basic services in the areas freed from the rebels and to begin the preparations for elections, and further financial aid will follow. The Council today agreed to suspend the travel ban on 6 members of the Zimbabwean government. We've also taken 21 people and 1 company off our sanction list. This is in recognition of significant political progress in the country. In particular, the agreement between the political parties on a final draft constitution and the announcement of a referendum. This adds further momentum to the reform process and paves the way for peaceful, transparent and credible elections later this year. We've made it clear we're ready to go further as further progress is made. A peaceful and credible constitutional referendum would be an important milestone, and we hope that all political parties will continue the positive momentum. We started our discussions ahead of the Eastern Partnership Summit in Vilnius in November. We believe it's very important to recognise that this summit will be a milestone in our relationship. But this is only going to be possible if both the European Union and the partner countries deliver on the commitments that have been made. For our partners, there is an important message that the pace of reform will determine the intensity of the cooperation. Those partners most engaged in reform will benefit most from their relationship with the European Union. And then finally, over lunch, we discussed the Middle East peace process. As you know, we have long said that we believe in the two-state solution, that we want to press forward and to see the development of an internationally supported framework so that we can see negotiations between the partners. We're working closely with our partners and in the region to create the conditions to establish such a framework. And as we've said many times, this needs to be a solution that addresses both the Palestinian aspirations for statehood and sovereignty and the Israeli concerns for security. I'll stop there, if I may.